one would be getting more sleep, but if that's the thing you weren't even working with her on, then possibly the feelings and thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. And I would target sleep first. And so in this particular case, you know, I am thinking about somebody who doesn't get a lot of sleep, which is pretty common in my caseload. I think that sometimes, I know I'm paying a lot more attention to it lately than I ever have before, but I think it's definitely one that I would target. And instead of saying like, oh, you got to get more sleep, it's a hollow plan. So I'll do a commitment letter around it. And actually what I would do is the first target behavior would be that all that week she goes to bed, so she gets off work really late. She wants to stay up. She's kind of ramped up for a few hours. And so instead of staying up all of that time, she can stay up a little bit to unwind, but then she makes a commitment to go to bed at midnight instead of 3 in the morning. Okay? So she makes a commitment for a week to get in the habit. I'm holding her accountable. She's letting me know. We're checking in. She's jumping out of the habit. Okay? So you're right. And it's a really big one. So then it decreases, by getting more sleep, it decreases her vulnerability for aggressive sort of communication from colleagues, interpersonal conflict. Okay? When you're dealing with an interpersonal conflict and you're well rested, you have a much stronger base. So I would agree, that would be my first target behavior. What do other people think about? So the second target behavior that we would do would be the links, the feelings. Okay? So, well, we'll keep it at this one. Okay, so the links and the feelings would be, again, we have the feeling of anger come up, or the feeling, let's use inadequacy, because we can all relate to that feeling and thoughts that go with it. So you have the feeling of inadequacy comes up, and so the target behavior could be hanging out with the uncomfortable feeling long enough to do something about it that doesn't make the situation worse. Okay, so distress tolerance, which is the next module, means hanging out with an uncomfortable feeling without avoiding it, okay, which will make it bigger, or pulling in an impulsive behavior that gets in the way of your desired change. Your desired change is to bear pain skillfully. Okay, so a feeling of inadequacy comes up. So it comes up, the first thing we want them to do is label it accurately. Okay, hang out in the pain long enough to know what it is. What is it? Oh, okay, I've got a feeling of inadequacy in me right now. And reminding them that you are not your current emotional state. You are not inadequate. There's a feeling of it in you. That's much easier to deal with. Instead of saying, I have an eating disorder, I am depressed, I am inadequate. You aren't any of those things. So emotions are going through on a regular basis, okay? Staying there a long time has quite a bit to do with the thoughts that continually reactivate it, okay? So she could do a number of things. There's a feeling of inadequacy in me right now. And then what I might have her do, so if she emails me before pulling in a problem behavior and say, this thing happened at work and this lady got really mad at me and I feel really inadequate. And so I may shoot her an email and say, can you send me a thought record? I'll just have her send me a thought record really quick. And thought record, basically, it's on one of the other slides too. Thought record, you know, we know what thought records are, right? What is the primary emotion? Inadequacy. 1 to 100%. How inadequate do you feel? 80%. Auto thought. My colleague thinks that I am inadequate and can't do anything right, and she hates me, and so does everybody else, and I'm probably going to get fired. Okay? Evidence you have to support it. She implied in so many words that I'm inadequate. Okay? Evidence you have not to support it. She's the only person who's really ever said that, and I hardly ever have anybody tell me that I'm inadequate. More balanced thought. I'm able to make a mistake or have somebody perceive me as making a mistake, and the last thing that I did doesn't have to cancel out all the good that I do, all the times that I'm not mistake making. So I am not the last thing that I did. So this thought, or if it's inaccurate, you know, this woman is entitled to having an opinion of me, even if I think it's the wrong one. And I'm going to work on staying balanced and okay in the midst of somebody else not feeling okay with me. So somebody else's judgment of me is only my problem if I make it mine. Okay? If somebody's truth of me becomes my truth of me, now I've got a problem. Okay? So those are some techniques that I would do. So I know we